Hey everybody, it's Sunday, and I thought before we got started, if you don't mind, I would just take a couple minutes to catch up on my thank you notes for this week, if that's okay with you. So I got my guy Jarrell here. Jarrell, do you have some thank you note writing music that you can maybe give me?
Sure.
Yeah, that's good. All right, here we go. Thank you, online worship services, for making it so I can make the volume of the music just right. Thank you, YouTube, Facebook, and online church comments, for giving me something to do during the service besides playing Candy Crush on my phone. Thank you, FaceTime, for only taking waist up shots so I never, ever have to get out of my stretchy pants. I never take them off, ever. Thank you, internet memes, for making me laugh so hard I actually get an ab workout in for the day. That's a good one. Got to keep the blood flowing, right? Thank you, medical professionals, first responders, and food providers, for being so brave, for running into the storm and helping those in need. Thanks, everybody. Those are my thank you notes for this week. Let's get started.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us today. We're so glad that we get to spend the next few minutes with you. If this is your first time ever tuning into Immanuel, we're so glad that you did, and we would love the chance to get connected with you. So a little pop-up's gonna appear here that will take you to our digital connect card, or if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, we'll be sure to post a link in the comments. Click that, it'll take you just a minute to fill that out. We won't bombard you, we just wanna keep you updated and we wanna get connected with you. So if you'll fill that out, someone from our team will be sure to get in contact with you. Well, just a reminder, right after this broadcast at 11 o'clock this morning, our Icy Kids broadcast airs. You'll wanna be sure to grab the kiddos and tune in. Let's see what Zach's been up to this week. And then for all of our students, 6th grade through 12th grade, tonight at 6 p.m., Icy Youth Tube airs. So you want to make sure to join in there as well. Well, we're going to take you back to a service we did, I think it was a couple months ago, where we introduced this song called Waymaker. And if you haven't heard this song, I'm excited for you to hear it now. This song has been so good for my soul. It just reminds me that at a time where it feels like maybe God's not working or we're not sure what he's up to, that he is working. He can and will make a way. Even when it doesn't feel like he's moving or he's working or he's speaking, I promise you that he is.
darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you, I worship you, Lord. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 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 You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. When I don't see it, you work it. Even when I don't feel it, you work it. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you work it. Even when I don't feel it, you work it. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you work it. Even when I don't feel it, you work it. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you work it. Even when I don't feel it, you work it. You never stop working. You never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are.
Get this, Harvard did a study not long ago that found 47% of people are always thinking about something other than what they're currently doing. Isn't that amazing? Our brains can be somewhere that our bodies are not. I don't know how that works. I don't know why it works that way, but it does. Now, here's what the study showed us and what the authors of that study, by the last names of Killingsworth and Gilbert, say. This is a direct quote. They said that the ability to think about what is not happening is a cognitive achievement that comes with an emotional cost. It's really true, isn't it? That we miss out on something, that we feel it. We're not always sure what it is, but we feel that gap between being present in what's going on and where we're at and who we're with, and mentally being somewhere else. And it's uncomfortable and we don't like it. But now, more than ever, we're living in that reality, aren't we? Our brains are constantly somewhere else. We don't want to be sheltered in place. We don't want to have to not go to work. We don't want to have to not go to school. I mean, when we're doing those things, we would love a vacation and all that. But now that we can't do those things, sometimes it's just survival, allowing our brains to wander and go somewhere else, isn't it? I mean, that's how we get through weights all the time. But what we're exploring in this series is maybe the weight isn't something to get through. Maybe the weight is something better. Maybe there's something for us in it. And so what I think the study points to, and what we're going to talk about today, who we're going to look at today, what that all points to is this. We need to stop thinking of waiting as doing nothing, because it's really not doing nothing. Physically, it may be different than what we wanted to be doing. So there may be yard work that has to be done and you're stuck sitting at the DMV waiting for your number to be called. But it's not really doing nothing, not if our brains can be somewhere else at the same time. Even physically, it's not doing nothing. In the end, waiting is really doing something else. Here's how it looks right now. Some of you, parents, went from being business people to being teachers. And you're waiting for that day to come when you can go back to work or back to normal life, but you're not doing nothing in the meantime. If you were a server or a bartender, all of a sudden you might be driving an Uber delivery car. You're not doing nothing as you wait for life to return. You're doing something else. And if you were a teacher, you've had to become like a YouTube star in order to connect with your kids and teach your kids and invest in those students that you were given at the beginning of the year. Everything changed and we're waiting for it to go back. But let's not fool ourselves into thinking that we're doing nothing. We're just doing something else. So how do we show up to those something else's? That's the question I want to tackle today, because I don't think there's something we should just get through. In fact, I'm going to make the argument that there's something we should show up to 100%. I want us to start thinking this way, to make this our mantra. Do this well, because this may well be about that. Do this well, because this may well have something to do with that. You see, we set out in life with a picture of what the future is going to be, what we want to grow up to be, right? And then life starts happening and it seems to be going in different directions, and we just got to get over the hurdles and get back on track to the picture we had in our mind of what life will look like. But what if the hurdles are part of the journey? Remember what we talked about last week, and if you missed last week, go back and watch it, because I think there's something there for you. That we can't plan our way to God's promise, and we shouldn't see the promise as just a path, or the pause as just a path to the promise, but as part of it. And so what if we showed up to all the hurdles, what we think are distractions, 100%? I call this the Joseph principle, because Joseph was a kid who was given a vision that was huge and was great and was awesome. And it seemed like his life was on a path to stardom. And then real life hit, and it all started with his family. You see, Joseph in the Old Testament, if you go all the way back to Genesis, was his dad's favorite. He's one of 12 sons. And he's his dad's favorite, and his dad gives him this great coat, and his brothers are all jealous, but nothing compared to the jealousy they experience when he comes out one day and he tells them all about a dream that he had. This is what he says. Listen to his words. We, being me, Joseph, and you, my brothers, we were out in the field, tying up bundles of grain. Suddenly, my bundle stood up, and your bundles all gathered around and bowed low before mine. I mean, they're brothers. You must have been able to see the steam coming off his brother's head. I mean, they would have been so irate. In fact, they asked, are you suggesting that one day we're going to bow down to you? And Joseph kind of goes, yeah. And then a little bit later, he has the same dream and it's the same message. And that can be a whole nother sermon to talk about how he handled that. But what I want you to understand is that God had given Joseph a grand vision. He essentially sat Joseph down and sang a song from Disney World, my favorite ride, Carousel of Progress. He said this to him, there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. Joseph, there is a big plan I've got for you. And I'm going to give you a life that has authority. I'm going to give you a life that has influence. You're going to be respected. People are going to answer to you. And when you think about it in terms of being the little brother, he's also going to have a life where he gets to avenge his oppressors. Who wouldn't want that life? Who wouldn't want that to be their reality? If I sat you down and I said, here's what it's going to look like. You're going to be put in charge of a lot. And anybody that's ever messed with you, they're going to respect you. They're going to bow low before you. In fact, if you were ever picked on as a kid, you might have dreamt about that day, right? But that day is not the next day for Joseph. In fact, the next day seems to go in the opposite direction. His brothers beat him up. They throw him down in a pit, consider killing him, instead decide they're going to fake his murder, and then they sell him into slavery. Nobody bows to you when you're a slave. You do all the bowing. And so Joseph finds himself slave to an Egyptian authority figure by the name of Potiphar. Here's what's interesting. He was the head of what we might consider the secret service for Pharaoh in Egypt. So he's a big deal. And Joseph ends up in his house. And before long, we realize that things are heading in a different direction than we might have even thought from the slavery standpoint. In fact, Joseph is put in charge of all of Potiphar's affairs. This is what we read. It says, the Lord was with Joseph. And that's going to be a refrain that's going to occur over and over again. So he succeeded in everything he did as he served in the home of his Egyptian master. Now, here's what's interesting. We read things like the Lord was with Joseph, and we don't always put two and two together. The Lord was with Joseph at the beginning when the vision was put in place, but he was also with Joseph when it felt like the vision was falling apart. He was with Joseph when he became a slave and he found himself in Potiphar's house, which changes how we look at our lives, especially right now, because we tend to think of life's adversity as the same thing as God's abandonment, and it isn't. Just because things go wrong in our life does not mean God has given up on us, or forgotten about us, or picked someone else over us. We can never equate those two things because that wasn't the case for Joseph. For Joseph, all it meant was things were different than he thought they were going to look. But God never left him alone. In fact, God showed up and blessed him. But here's what's so important. Not only did God show up, so did Joseph. You see, sometimes we read Joseph's story and we think, oh, it just means we need to sit back and relax and let God do his thing and he's just going to drop a great life in our lap. But we read over and over again, not only was the Lord with Joseph, but Joseph did things. He showed up 100% in everything that was right in front of him. He was a person of integrity. He had a great work ethic. He was trustworthy. He was all of those things. And he applied his skills and his gifts to whatever was given. He wasn't looking past Potiphar. He wasn't looking past his role in that home. He was fully there, and he gave it his all. Now, what happens next is interesting because you would think, well, now this is just going to lead to stardom because Potiphar will tell Pharaoh and, all that kind of thing. And that part is coming, but not in the way you'd think. Because all this time, Potiphar's wife has had eyes for Joseph. He's a good-looking guy. And she tries to seduce him. Joseph resists, and he runs away. And Potiphar's wife tells Potiphar that Joseph tried to rape her. She makes up this whole story. And understandably, Potiphar is irate, and he takes Joseph and he throws him in prison. So Joseph goes from father's favorite with a bright future to a pit, to slavery, to prison. This does not feel like it's supposed to feel. This does not look like it's supposed to look. And yet, Joseph doesn't get down on himself. He doesn't get down on his life circumstances. He looks at them and goes, God's not abandoned me. He's still with me, and I can do something with this. This is what we read next. But the Lord was with Joseph in the prison, and he showed him his faithful love, and the Lord made Joseph a favorite with the prison warden. Now, this is where it gets so interesting. Before long, the warden put Joseph in charge of all the other prisoners and over everything that happened in the prison. So now a prisoner is in charge of the prison. The inmates are running the asylum, essentially. And it goes on to say this: the warden had no more worries because Joseph took care of everything. The Lord was with him and caused everything he did to succeed. Again, the Lord was with Joseph. That part has been established in every stop along the way. Every chapter of Joseph's life, he's not been abandoned. But also firmly established is that Joseph shows up. Whatever he did and whoever he was and how he carried himself to the warden endeared him to the warden. And he proved that he was trustworthy. In order for someone that has been put in jail to run the jail, something must be different about that person. Now, most people would say he still hasn't crossed the finish line. He still hasn't gotten where he thought he was going to be, right? What we're starting to see is that we have to change our measure of success. You see, a lot of us would say success is a lack of adversity. We didn't have anything come in our way on our climb up the ladder or our chase to the finish line. We were able to smooth sail, right? Like that's what we'll say. Things like the stars aligned and it was a perfect storm of success and one thing after the other just led on and on and on. But the truth is, success, at least in God's eyes and by Joseph's example, is not measured by a lack of adversity, but an attitude in the midst of it. You see, Joseph had all kinds of things go wrong. It was how he responded that made him successful. And yes, ultimately, success was God's. We can't miss that part. It says, and God made everything he did succeed, but Joseph still did things. So if the success belonged to God, the process belonged to Joseph. How he tackled each thing that God put in his path is so important. It says something about how we tackle what's been put in our path that feels so off from where we wanted to be or where we thought we were going to be. Now, what happens next is amazing. Joseph's in prison, and two people that work for Pharaoh, a baker and a cupbearer, are there. They have some disturbing dreams. Joseph tells them what those dreams mean. Fast forward a little bit, those two guys get out of prison, and Pharaoh himself has a bad dream, and they go, we know this guy in prison named Joseph. He was a cellmate of ours. In fact, the warden loves the dude. He interpreted our dreams. You should call him in and see if he can interpret yours. That's what Pharaoh does. Joseph comes into the courts, listens to the dream, tells him exactly what they mean and what he should do about them. Because here's the gist of the dream. Pharaoh, there's going to be a big famine coming soon. And you need to plan and you need to prepare. And here's how you can get ready for that. And Pharaoh is so impressed that Joseph came the way he did, that this is what he says. You, Joseph, will be in charge of my court, and all my people will take orders from you. Only I, sitting on my throne, will have a rank higher than yours. And wherever Joseph went, the command was shouted, kneel down. So Pharaoh put Joseph in charge of all Egypt. So here is a Jewish boy in charge of an Egyptian nation, the most powerful people in the world at the time. And everybody respected Joseph. And everybody knew his authority. And all of a sudden, that vision from 13 years ago starts to come into focus. Now, what's interesting, that command that was shouted, kneel down, actually was kiss the dirt. Put your face all the way to the ground when Joseph comes by because you owe him respect. Sounds familiar, right? Fast forward 7 years. We have 7 good years with Joseph in charge. He gets all the storehouses filled up, and Egypt is totally ready for the famine that hits. And it comes, and eventually Joseph's own brothers are sent by his father to go to Egypt because Egypt is now the only place that has food. And this is how they greet their brother. Since Joseph was governor of all Egypt and in charge of selling grain to all the people, it was to him that his brothers came. When they arrived, they bowed before him, and their faces to the ground. 20 years now. 20 years Joseph had waited. And make no mistake, this isn't a moment where Joseph goes, finally I got my brothers. But it is a moment where he realized God is a promise keeper. And the means by which he fulfills his promise aren't always the things we expect, but they're not things we should skip. They're things that we should show up because maybe, just maybe, the time in the pit, the time in slavery, the time in prison, and the time in charge of all of Egypt led up to this moment, and this moment wouldn't have been possible without those moments. So do this, whatever this is, do this well, because this may well be about that. Who knows what will be on the other side of COVID-19? But maybe God has something for you to learn and some ways for you to grow in these moments that feel backwards from your vision for your life. But maybe there's something to them that's going to lead to that vision. So here's what I want to encourage you to do. Whatever it is that you're doing, if that's administering homeschooling or that's creating videos or whatever it is, abide by the 100% rule. Psychologists have been studying this for years, and it's fascinating. What they've found is that giving 100% of your effort, maximum effort to whatever you do, is easier than giving just 99% or a percentage smaller than that. Because it doesn't leave any options. 99%, there's a window of, I'm not going to give my all to this. I'm going to show up one day, but maybe another day, I'll phone it in. 100%, there's no negotiating. There's no questioning that. You see this as the ultimate destination, which was what set Joseph apart. He didn't see this as a step. He didn't see Potiphar's house as a step. He didn't see the prison as a step. He saw it as the ultimate destination, trusting God with fulfilling his promise another day. But whatever was for him today, he was going to give 100% of himself to. Now, that doesn't mean perfection. It just means presence. It doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes. It just means that you're going to show up all the way for whatever it is that you're doing. So it means shifting and reframing all of this just a little bit. This is how I'm trying to do it in my own life. If we believe God can change things, and I do, but he chooses not to, then I can receive this, COVID-19, sheltered in place, everything being different. I can receive this as a gift that has two things, purpose and promise. There's a reason this is happening. What it is, I don't know. And I don't know when I have perspective and I have a vantage point that's different than this one 5, 10, 15 years down the road. I don't know what I'll look at this moment as, but I can trust that it won't be for naught. It won't be for nothing. And that is promise. That is promise. That all the things God says will be true of my life will be. But how he gets me there has something to do with right here and right now. So the question for each of us to wrestle with, for me to wrestle with, is this: what if we came out on the other side of this better? Better. What if we didn't come out on the other side less or smaller or anything besides better? What if we looked at this as an opportunity to learn and a chance to grow and to evolve and to improve as people, as families, as professionals, as whatever it is that we're doing right now, and we saw that this is going to play in later. This isn't just coincidence. None of the things that Joseph experienced in his life were coincidence. You know, they say that you eat an elephant one bite at a time. So take it one bite at a time. And this is your next bite. Whatever it is, right in front of you. Do this well, because this may well be about that. Now, when I think about these things, there's one person that comes to mind who has exemplified for me more than anybody over the last several weeks, and that's my wife. Heidi is going to join me in just a minute, and we're going to talk through how life has changed for her, because it's drastically different than it was even 1 month ago. But before she steps in, I want to pray for you. Heavenly Father, I pray with all my heart that I and my friends would learn to show up with all we got to the moment in front of us. Help us to see each stop on our journey the way that Joseph saw each stop on his. Full of purpose, full of promise, so that we can go after it with reckless abandon, trusting that it's going to lead where you've got us going one way or the other. Help us to never phone in one moment of this. Help us not to waste the chances that you are giving us to grow and to improve. Thank you. Thank you for being a God who doesn't do mistakes and doesn't do coincidence, but does purpose. And thank you for the example of Joseph. Amen. Well, I'm here with my very best friend, my bride, my hero, because she lives out what I've been talking about all morning, and now more than ever in real living color. This is Heidi.
Hi.
And I just want to start, babe, with you sharing what it looked like 2 months ago. What were you doing? Because it was a lot different than what you're doing today.
Yes. Okay. So 2 months ago, I was working for my dad and my uncle. We are corporate trainers. So we do public speaking all over the country in universities and corporations and hospitals on diversity and inclusion. And we do a class on service excellence. And funny enough, we do a class on resilience and adaptability. So 2 months ago, I was working more than I ever have in my career and spending nights alone in hotel rooms and getting up by myself in the morning and going and doing what I think that God made me to do.
Yeah, and you're so good at it. You are so good at it. I mean, I've gotten to see you do it, and you're stellar. Talk a little bit about what were your hopes and your dreams for your career going forward when you thought about 5 years, 10 years out?
I'm not somebody who thinks very long term. I try to just kind of live in what's happening right now when things are going my way. When things are not going my way, I'm a little bit more difficult in those circumstances. But over the course of the last year, because it is a family business, we've had several conversations as a family with my dad and my uncle and my cousin and my sister about being the next generation of RDR Group and taking over what my dad and uncle have worked so hard to create, and how do we move into the future with training. And it was really exciting. I mean, we had a plan that we were going to start doing this differently, and I was excited for it, really excited for it.
So you're saying the vision and the hope for tomorrow was not small. It was big,
no.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then a couple weeks ago hits, now almost a month ago, I guess, and everything changed.
Yeah. It was like a balloon popped.
What are you doing now? Not the same.
So the day that I learned that my job would be furloughed because they're not doing live training, I drove home and I had a moment in the driveway where I thought, this is my life now. I'm a mom and I'm a wife. And even though I was always those things, I find so much meaning in my work, and there's so much affirmation in my work. I get evaluations right away at the end of every training. They clap for me when I'm done teaching a class. My kids don't clap for me when I make them dinner. They don't get excited when I do the laundry. I think we should start doing that.
We should have like a line that just applauds.
Totally. I would love that. So it's been really, my reality has gone from, and I get up every morning and I make my bed and I get dressed and I put on my shoes. And I know that that's not how everybody functions and it doesn't work for everybody, but it's really worked for me to treat my home and family life like it is my work. Because I really wrestled with it in the beginning. Being an expert on adaptability and resilience, I feel like I don't manage change very well. And I really struggled with it in the beginning. And I woke up one morning and I was praying before I got out of bed. And God made it really clear, this is your work. Your children are who you're investing in. Mm-hmm. And some of the prayers that I've been praying this last year, I feel like God has answered them differently than how I had expected. Mm-hmm. But being more intentional with my kids, having time to slow down and appreciate my life. These are things that God has given me way differently than I thought. I thought, I'm working, we're going to go on more vacations together, and that's how we're going to spend time together. And now it's like, we're not going on vacation. Mm-hmm. We're together at home. And so I try to meet every single morning with the same level of enthusiasm and joy and effort that I would put into my professional life. I try to bring my best every day to my kids while giving everybody the space to feel what it is that they're feeling.
Right. Which isn't easy. And what I love is that you do not look at this as something we got to get through. You really look at this as there's something in here for us to learn and for God to grow us. And you just exemplify that so well. This is you show up with 100% to whatever it is right in front of you and never looking past it to down the road. You're like a huge example to me and to all of our kids in what that looks like. So thank you.
That's
for doing
really
that.
Sweet. I think it's because it's what I teach.
Yeah.
If I can't live every day and learn and grow from this experience, then I'm no good at what it is that I do. Because we can't control what's happening outside. We can only control what's happening inside. And sometimes inside is very out of control.
But yeah, you come back to this place. There's an old hymn that we sang growing up. The words are simple. It is well with my soul. And somehow you find a way to come back to that. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go grab our son and we're going to pull a piano in here, and Heidi is going to sing those words for us. And I hope that you can listen to them. One, knowing the one singing them lives them. And two, that they're true for us all. So thank you. And thank you.
You're welcome.
When peace like a river turneth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it
words of that song can be your prayer. Over and over again, you can pause and say, "It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul, because the Lord has got me. And I don't always understand it. I can't always make sense of it, but I trust that fact. So I can be 100% available to this moment. I can give 100% of my energy and effort to this next bite, to this next task, because this may lead to that." It's been great to be with you today. Thanks so much for inviting us into your home and joining us for the last few minutes. I hope it's not the last time we see you, though. Will you connect with us this week online? We do all kinds of social media stuff, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and we would love the chance to connect with you. I go live on Instagram Mondays. I'm live on Facebook on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 7 p.m. I'd love the chance to say hi midweek. We've also got a ton of great opportunities to connect with other people. All that information is available to you at immanuelhome.org. Don't miss it, and let's not waste the next few weeks that we have to grow to be more like Jesus. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.